a major carrier, and I'm based in New York. And you know, got a couple of grown children, and that's basically me.
Dave?
Okay, my name is Dave Shepard. Bill and I have been friends for a little while. We're both from law enforcement backgrounds and martial arts backgrounds. I contracted the coronavirus about a week ago. And I have a video that's out there talking about how it came on to me. And right now it has over 6,000 views because I break everything down.
Yes, excellent.
That's about it right now.
Dr. Corder, won't you just run down some of your credentials and tell people where you practice your medicine at?
Hi guys, I'm Marilyn Corder. I've been a physician for over 42 years, trained at the best Howard University College of Medicine. I'm here in the DMV. I do a lot of different things. I'm chief of staff at one of the hospitals, the only hospital in the Southeast, which is like would be Harlem of yesteryear. And I'm also on faculty, but I'm in private practice. I do a talk show. I do lots of things in the media. But one thing I want to make sure that you guys understand is that we have to continue to communicate. We have to continue to network and collaborate our experiences. This is something COVID is bringing us all together, no matter where we are, no matter who we are. And I'm grateful to be a cousin of yours, Bill, because you have really made it to the point where that communication and that collaboration is so very important. So I'm married to a pediatrician, and we both have been, trying to see the patients, doing telemedicine, informing the village.
Yes, definitely. She has a show on Saturdays, and before she leaves, she'll give that information. So I want to start with you, Stacy. Let us know, and then Dave, follow up. Stacy, let us know when you found out that you had the virus, when you caught it at, and the procedure in that manner.
So I flew a trip on March 12th. Without going into too many specifics, you and I talked about this yesterday. There was a particular flight that had some sports players on it. And that's all I want to say about that. I flew with 2 other people. And last week, I was literally in the car driving back from New York, back home to Dallas, when I got notified that I have been potentially exposed because one of my coworkers tested positive after it come out that some of these players tested positive. As soon as I got home, I called my doctor on Wednesday morning. Thursday morning, they called to tell me to come in and take a test. My doctor is very familiar with my job. I'm traveling all over the place. So I was tested last Thursday afternoon, and Saturday morning my doctor called and told me that I was positive.
Where did you take the test at?
It was a drive-up testing center next to an urgent care that his company, that his clinic works out of, the hospital that he's associated with. And I pulled up, and it was, they come out looking like astronauts, and all geared up, and roll the window down, and they stick those swabs up your nose, and it's quite painful, but it's done, and it only took a couple of days before I got my results.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. What were your results? You came back, they were tested positive, but you're asymptomatic,
Absolutely.
right?
I have not had a fever. I haven't had any cough or anything of that nature. The only thing that did happen literally on the 14th day, when the day that I actually took the test was the night before, I started to notice that I couldn't taste and I couldn't smell. But it didn't dawn on me until that Thursday that, hey, something's not right. And so that went on initially, let me back up, the day before when I drove to a testing center on my own, and they made it very clear that you had to have a fever of 99.6 and a cough and all these other things. I was like, well, I don't have that. Well, we can't test you. But by the time I got to the appointment that my doctor set up, the lady asked me, well, what's going on? I'm like, I can't taste and I can't smell. She said, that's part of the new wave of symptoms that people are presenting with. And that's how I was able to get that test. But other than that, I haven't You know, I don't, even now I'm sitting here, I'm quarantined, I check myself into a hotel just to be sure I'm not near anyone. And
Right.
it's like I don't feel anything, but it's not lost on me that there's something really going on. I have gotten, my taste has returned somewhat, but I'm still working on myself.
Okay,
So,
Doc, let me ask you a question. How common is it for somebody to be asymptomatic? I mean, and what you just heard?
Is that for me?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's interesting, as I continue to say, this is all new. And if we were to test everyone, you probably would see a good 1 out of 3 that are positive that have no symptoms. And it all depends on, I call it the host, us being the host, how that virus can affect us. And some people may not even have a lack of taste or smell. They just walking around like a strep carrier. So
Right.
that's why that social distancing is so very important, so that virus can just leave. You know, in other words, it's there. And as the young lady said, you know, between social distancing, goggling, and doing a few things and building her immune system, my understanding of the virus, it will seed out. It will simmer down. But
Okay.
it loves new hosts, and it loves to replicate in those people who are so vulnerable and susceptible.
Okay, cool. So Dave, please, Stacy, well, of course we'll come back to you. So Dave, please tell us your testimony and how did you find out that you had it and what did you do?
Well, it was about 2 Fridays ago. I had a mild headache over my eyes, like a sinus headache. And I said, you know, since this thing is going around, let me just take my my temperature and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So that Friday night, it was at 99.9. So my body was a little achy. So I said, something ain't right here. So the next day, I still had the headache. My temperature went from 99.9 to 100.3. So I said, something is definitely wrong here. So the whole day, it was jumping from 100.7 to 100.4, and I was feeling really bad and tired. I didn't get the non-tasting yet or the smelling yet. I didn't pay attention to that. So what I did was I had heard that if you boiled onion peels in a pot and you breathe that in, the heat, because understand this virus can't take heat. So I put my head over a pot with a towel to let all the heat come up and take it as long as I can take it without it burning me up.
Yes.
On top of that, I did something a little more unconventional. As I
Please
bought
tell them, yeah. Please tell that story, yeah.
I bought a $15 blow dryer from the 99-cent store, and I was blowing. And I bought a spray bottle. Everybody get on me about this. But shoot, if you ain't got nothing else, you got to try that, baby. And I was blowing that up my nose and blowing the dryer and going left and right, but I was making sure the water didn't get on the dryer.
Right.
So I put that in my video. Plus, I told everybody about how we don't pay attention to the signs and we keep working and working, and we're exposing ourselves and making ourselves sick and don't take care of ourselves. So I did that. Now, what pissed me off, I was in Jersey. I wanted to get tested. I drove to Jersey to Bergen County College where they were doing the testing. It was about 5 p.m. in the afternoon. And it was closed. But there was a cop there that said they're going to reopen tomorrow about 8 o'clock. So I flashed my badge, figured I could probably try to get a little courtesy somehow, some way. So he told me to come at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
But what he failed to tell me is if I'm not a Jersey resident, they're not going to deal with me. So I sat in my car for 5 hours until that thing opened up at 8 o'clock for them to tell me that they can't test me.
Wow.
I was positive, but I didn't know it.
Right,
so
right.
What I did was I called up a few people and asked anybody if they knew of a place in New York that had the drive-up testing. And there was one in Glen Island. which is off of New Rochelle. So I went there. I didn't have an appointment. I was talking stuff to the cop, flashed my badge. They let me through. I was done in an hour. But that night, Sunday night, I felt better from doing all the things that I said I was doing. I was breathing over the hot water with the orange peels in the pot. I also was using a blow dryer in the spray bottle. That Sunday night, my fever was gone, my headache was gone. But what I didn't tell people in the video is that I went to work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because I didn't think I had it.
Really?
I thought it was just some kind of fluke. Wednesday, they called me to tell me I had it. Wednesday. They asked me how I was feeling. I said, I'm feeling fine. So I haven't been back to work since then because I didn't want to infect anybody else.
Right.
So what I decided to do behind that, because this virus is affecting everybody differently. Some people
Yes.
get the headache and they don't get the fever right away. Some people get the fever and don't get the headache. Some people get the non-tasting or the smelling and they don't have the headache or the fever. So this virus is very tricky and it's something we've never ever dealt with. So that's why I made that video, which right now has over 6,000 views.
Yeah.
Because I break that down and I talk about how I live my life.
Yeah.
And how
Yeah,
martial
definitely.
arts saved my life.
Yeah, you did mention that. That was awesome. That video, we're going to make sure people find out your page and go to. I'm going to turn to you. We have two questions too also, but I want to ask the doctor the question. You heard of his methods. Now, the head over the pot was awesome. We understood that. But the individual one where the blow dry and the spray, I guess right now, whatever works, correct?
Right. And that's like a warm vapor. And to me, you know, as we talk about as much hot water, hot tea, hot beverages, gargling, well, what he did, instead of that going back to the throat, he got that to the effect where it would be in the nasal passages, which is also where this virus likes to sit. So
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
They laugh at me about that spray bottle.
Don't tell them that laugh at you, brother.
I'm with you, brother. I tell you.
So Malika has, people have chimed in and put two questions.
Yeah, I have two questions so far. So one of our viewers asked, are chest pains one of the symptoms of the virus?
Never got chest pains, never got caught.
I didn't have that.
But they are, Doc, you're saying?
Yes, they are. Sometimes chest pain or burning in your chest. Pain or burning.
Okay. Well, thank God that y'all didn't have it. And let me ask you a question as she looks for the next question. Doc, are there different levels to catching this disease, this virus? Are there different levels like 1 to 10, or is this like the flu, or you don't know yet, right?
You don't know. And that's a good question because some people will say, you know, now what they're doing is when some of the places, the very large scale folks and places where they have it, they're putting all the COVID people together. So somebody said, well, what if they get it 10 times because they're all together? Well, it's one of those things, you got exposed, so your body is reacting to that exposure, not that those extra exposures are going to do anything different.
Yeah, the other question was just, can you get it again? I think this is something we talked about the other day, but a lot of people are concerned if you get it once, can you get it a second time?
According to Dr. Anthony Fauci, and he's been asked that question a few times, we begin to develop antibodies once we've had it, just like chickenpox and mumps and measles. So the antibodies that we develop once having had the exposure is supposedly will give us a protection. Now, you know, you might have it mild, but they're saying that protection, that's why they are beginning to study or interested in studying the blood of those who survived COVID and making sure and seeing that their blood can protect and help those who are actively fighting COVID.
Right.
I got a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Am I a candidate for that, helping other people out with my blood because I was tested positive and now I have no symptoms?
Well, the question is, how long does it take for your antibodies to develop, mature, and be noticed in your blood? So there's something called, we call it the immune response, so the antibody. So if you get your blood drawn, sometimes it may take up to 30 days. If you get your blood drawn and they begin to see antibodies to it, just like when we, you know, have chickenpox or measles or so, and we may not have remembered we had it, but once you've had it, you have the antibodies, which says you've been exposed and your body have these permanent antibodies to it. So to answer your immediate question, I don't know how long it takes for your blood to develop that exposure / antibodies to, and I don't know how long you were actually positive.
Okay, so if I want to help somebody, so I have to wait, or I just go to a hospital?
So the question, you are positive. I think that you
Yes.
should call your local folks, your local health department, and find out from them. Tell them as much information as you just shared, and then we can kind of see. They'll tell you then when they feel that you would have already begun to show antibodies.
Okay.
We have some questions, but I wanted to ask you guys before we go to the questions. None of y'all had any pre-existing conditions?
None.
No.
Maybe that's a blessing in disguise. I think.
That's right. You all are some healthy folks. I love it.
Yeah, that's a
No
beautiful
diabetes,
thing.
no high blood pressure, no medication, nothing.
All right.
Just
Good.
some back pains from getting thrown on the mat.
Exactly. We both feel that, brother. Hold on. Go ahead, Malika.
So for Dr. Corder, one of the viewers said she's staying hydrated with water and the hot lemon water that we talked about. Is there anything else that all of us should drink aside from that?
Yes. Okay, hot lemon. Okay, lemon water as warm as you can. Any type of herbal tea. Some people will say honey and zinc, but you want to also, as much as you can get warmness to your throat and that upper airway and that nasal cavity that the gentleman said, that the virus doesn't like that. The virus doesn't like that. Now, I'm going to say this, even though you all may already know, with the headaches and the pain, never ever take ibuprofen. Only take Tylenol. Do not take ibuprofen. That's Advil, Motrin, or Aleve. Because when you do that, no matter what else you're doing, that allows the virus to replicate.
Okay.
Good. And then
We have another question. Go ahead.
yeah, just another question about headaches. Like we were saying, both Bill and I suffer from allergies. I've been went through it yesterday.
Right.
And one of our viewers said that she had a severe headache. So she was trying to determine if it was, COVID or if it was just a sinus headache. So is there any way to tell me?
It's a great masquerader, but if I were a headache sufferer or a sinus sufferer, I wouldn't just say, oh, it's only that. You want to make sure that you're checking the boxes in terms of, is this something different? How else do I feel? Just like the young lady said, no taste, no smell. You want to make sure nothing else is different. And if when in doubt, get tested.
So Stacy, you have more questions?
No, you're good for now.
Stacy, how are you feeling right now?
All intents and purposes, I feel fine. I know I'm faring better than most, and I'm grateful for that. Like I said, and because of it, I feel like, oh, I'm just ready to go back outside and do all these things and carry on with my day. And I really sit with myself and say, okay, even though you don't feel it, you have, something serious going on. So stay put and do your time. And, right now I'm quarantined until April 10th. And from that point, I'm guessing I'm supposed to retest at some point and see exactly where I am.
So April 10th is when you're supposed to stay quarantined to April 10th? Is that what they're telling me?
Yes, that's the 14 days from the this past Saturday that I was diagnosed.
So what's the procedure after that? April 10th, you go where?
I guess I called my doctor back. I scheduled another test and go through the same protocol that I did when I tested last week. I guess from that point, if I'm okay, that's the great question. Like, do I just go back out in the world? I mean, supposedly we build this immunity up, but
right.
How strong is that immunity? How long does it last? Like, one thing I've sat here and thought about, I don't consider myself suffering at this point, but what about 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, I'm out having dinner somewhere and, this thing just reappears in some other kind of, context. But because there's so many questions that are unanswered at this point, we're just really
we're going to get back to the doctor on that. Dave, where are you at right now with this?
I'm home right now. When I spoke to the person from the health department, they told me, the state health department, they told me that I should stay quarantined for 14 days from the time of my last fever. So
Right.
by this Sunday, I should be good to go to do whatever I want to do. But what I will do is call my doctor and let them know what I've experienced and if there's anything else I need to do. And that's about it. But I've felt great every day and just feel like a caveman right about now.
Let me ask you a question, Doc. I'm going to come to you. So both of you right now are just staying quarantined, but you feel great.
Yep.
Fair enough. Doc, first and
Yes.
foremost, go ahead, Stacey. You was going to say something? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying for the most part, yes, that's true.
Okay. Doc, please tell your other partner in crime, I said hello. If he wants to chime in, that's fine. That's on your call. And what's up?
Hey, Fred.
These are my cousins. It's both doctors. I love to have doctors in the family. Also, too, so what's the procedures, Doc, when, like they said they have to wait after the 14 days? What are you hearing? What are they supposed to do? Are they doing exactly what they're supposed to do? Or is there something different they should do?
It's that 15-day, I call it wait out. And that's the quarantine. That's the best we know. You know, it's a novel coronavirus. It's the best we know, after which they're no longer quote unquote contagious. And that's what they're now doing, especially there in New York, Bill. They're doing that for the healthcare workers who are positive. They're sending them home for 15 days and then they're coming back. And what they're saying is they're coming back stronger and almost as if they have superpowers because they already have antibodies.
I'm going to tell you something. We probably will bring that on your show, or Saturday earlier we'll have on the other show. We just got informed that a person that works in the hospital that supposedly beat it virus had to go back to work.
Right.
Because of their time. Yeah.
Right. That's right.
How crazy is that? I just got some paperwork. Yeah. With law enforcement, they're trying to tell law enforcement either they're putting you in places that are non-essential with other employees. But you know, if you can answer a phone, like how crazy is that? You can answer a phone, but you got the virus, so you're touching something.
Right.
Malika has some questions.
Yeah, they're coming in. I have about 4 or 5 questions. So the first one is, it may not be a silly question, but what's the difference between a virus and a disease, Dr. Corder?
Okay. Well, a disease is actually talking about an illness. A disease is what we term from bacterial illness to viral illness, etc. So that's like the umbrella. Now, most diseases, some of them are viral or bacterial, but then we have medical conditions which would be like high blood pressure, diabetes. So many people will say, well, this is a COVID disease or an illness, a viral illness. So they're synonymous.
Got it. Another viewer asked, why is COVID-19 going hand in hand with pneumonia?
Because it affects the lungs. And what happens with the lungs, there's something called, if you think of the main bronchioles, think of a tree, the main trunk, and then think of the branches, and then think of the small branches, and think of the leaves. Well, there's something called alveola, which are your leaves, and that's where those are the little itty bitty bulb circles at the end of the branches that COVID loves to affect. And it's really thick mucus. And that thick mucus, as you listening to the lungs, sounds like pneumonia because it's a consolidation of the airway. So having said that, COVID is actually now we've referred to it as COVID pneumonia. Pneumonia can be viral as well as pneumonia could be bacterial. So it again is it's a type of pneumonia that coronavirus causes.
That's deep. That's crazy. Now, like you said, pneumonia and everything now is getting clumped up together.
Right. Because,
go ahead, Doc.
Right. So pneumonia, right. Pneumonia is actually the term we use when there's congestion in the chest, when there's a condition, and then so many different causes of pneumonia, and COVID being one of them.
Thank you. This question is for Stacey. Did they give you any medication while you're in quarantine?
Nothing. literally just told me to quarantine for 14 days, and that's it. Their stance is there's no treatment or anything for it. You just need to isolate for the 14-day period, and then we'll assess again at that time.
Is that the same for you, Dave?
Yes, exactly. She told me 14 days after the last day that I had the fever to not mingle with anybody, self-quarantine myself, and I should be all right. I then in turn asked her if I got it again, what should I do? And she said to contact my personal physician.
Oh, just that like you got to get a referral. Doc,
Yeah.
I want to ask you this question. Something, or you and the doctors can answer maybe if it's true. Normal thing, is it possible to catch it again? I don't know if people were asking that question. And if he catches it again, does that mean his immune system is getting weaker?
You know, after you've had any type of virus, you can catch a lot of things, including even the flu. Having caught it again and have developed good antibodies, to it is unlikely. So it's almost like having a good case of chickenpox and you never get it again. Versus some people have had mild chickenpox and then they finally get the real deal. So my concern is, how much effect did it, when it came to your body, how much of your body developed antibodies to it, if that makes any sense.
Understood. You have questions?
3 more questions. They're coming in. So one viewer said that she's heard that the virus can linger in the system for up to 30 days after the symptoms disappear. Is there any truth to that?
I've heard 2 weeks. I've heard 30 days. I don't know. And then the next thing is that they're saying it'll come back at the end of the summer. I don't know.
Wow. Okay. So last 2 questions for now on this end is exercise and walking. So I got a message about I guess the benefits of exercising and walking while you have the virus. Does that help get rid of it?
No, I don't think that helps it. I mean, you want to breathe well, but I was going to ask both of your guests. So you all are doing natural things. We hear with the hot water, the hair dryer, the vitamins. I'm hoping that you guys are doing the zinc, vitamin C, those things that we hear that helps, and hydrating yourself and getting plenty of rest. And not taking
on a natural basis, I'm always consuming vitamin C and vitamin D3, which helps your immune system, which a lot of Black folks don't know about. We suffer from a lot of vitamin D deficiency because of being Black. The sun doesn't permeate our skin like it does white folks. We need additional vitamin D with either food or vitamins. And that a lot of people don't realize that helps your immune system as well as vitamins.
You are now paired. Enjoy.
What?
Sorry about
Is that Alexa?
We have a lot of electronics.
We got a lot of stuff going on over there. I apologize.
Hey, Bill, is that the real you or is that?
We got a lot going on over
Am I talking to the real Bill?
I'm trying to put it on vibrate, but it wanted to talk back to me.
Okay.
Exactly.
2 phones, 2 tablets. We got a lot going on.
Yeah. We're trying to stay connected to everybody. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I hope I'm talking to the real Bill.
Yeah, we was sitting there like this. Yeah, as soon as we heard that, we was like.
that was God. That was
Yeah.
God.
Right. That's what he talked back to us. Oh, do you have any more questions?
But Bill,
Yes.
go ahead.
No, go
Well,
ahead.
I just want to say, okay. Me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Through all of what we're going through, it is so important to keep this body that God has given us healthy, because the healthier you are, the better off you fighting anything. on top of the corona. I believe that if I was not in the good health that I am in, that I would have kept that fever and all that other stuff. From all that natural stuff I used, I would have kept it on me if I had underlying health issues. I know everybody can't have good health. Black folks, we eat a lot of sugar, we consume a lot of fat, we have a lot of diabetes and high blood pressure and all that stuff. But if we try to maintain a reasonably healthy body, you can fight off almost anything, almost anything. And you can start at any time. It's not like you've been unhealthy for a long time and now I'm saying I can't do it no more. You can start at any time in your life getting your health together.
Yeah.
And this should spark something in everybody to try to get their life in order.
Let me ask you a question before Malika. I know Malika has a question for Marilyn, Dr. Corder. But let me ask you a question. Have you two, both of y'all that I know have both usually been physically fit. Are you doing exercises in the house, or you just right now just 14 vegging? What are you doing besides taking the proper medicines and stuff like that?
For me, I doing a lot of reading. I'm not really moving around too much. I'm really trying to practice, self-quarantining. So that means not going out and that type of thing. I just kind of walk around. I'm a fairly large little suite, so I try to just walk around.
How are you getting food, Stacey?
Say again?
How are you getting food? Or room service? What are you doing?
I'm in a suite, so I have a little kitchenette and a fridge. I bought a bunch of groceries with me. My mom and I, we just went major grocery shopping a couple of days before, so I took some of the stuff from home. So I'm cooking and everything here. So
Okay.
I do what I can to stay inside, like to really do my part and not put this about in the world. But other than that, and staying connected to people, the phone calls all day, and are you okay? Do you need something? That kind of thing. It helps me stay connected to the outside world because I am kind of, secluded at this point.
Yeah.
But just trying my best to stay connected to my kids. My son, who was only around me one time in the last few weeks, we made sure he got tested today. And just staying on top of, family members. I have a couple of family members and one bestie who needed to go test because they were around me. So
hold that thought, because we're going to come back to that whole family gathering stuff. Dave, are you doing anything in the house, or you're not going out right now? You're still working out in the house?
Well, like I said, I went out earlier today.
Good. Okay.
And I covered up and I stayed away from people. But I have a lot of food in my house. I'm a sardines, tuna fish, and chicken kind of guy, So I have a lot of veggies in my house, and I have soup. But I do push-ups every day, and I'm doing my curls. I'm doing the push-ups every day, man.
Good.
So
good.
It also helps me sleep better when I'm tired.
Yes,
But
that's understood.
if I'm not tired, I'm up late at night and I'm trying to go to sleep. But I do my push-ups every day, man, and my curls.
Okay.
That's it.
Malika has a question
I
for
don't stay up
Dr.
all night
Corder.
thinking about this stuff. I've been inundated with a lot of calls, though. I tell you that.
All right, let me ask you a question before Malika asks Dr. Corder a question. Has it affected your sleeping, either one of you?
no.
Not much. But when I'm tired, I sleep better.
Okay, gotcha.
That's why I work out every day. Every day I'm working out.
Okay.
That's good. So for Dr. Corder, this is from a healthcare professional, my goddaughter. So she said, how do you feel about healthcare workers having to reuse the PPE, especially after they go into a positive patient's room and they just have to wipe down the mask afterwards?
We're doing the best we can. And for the front line who are taking care of COVID positive patients are doing just that. And they're trying to, as they reuse the mask, it's a spray that they're using to air it out. I've seen some of them drying it out, etc. So, like I said, they're doing the best they can. I have three other things to say really quickly. First, the comment about getting fit and getting healthy. I agree with you. My son, Fred, there in the Philippines, he constantly, he would be the last person that this COVID would win because he's so healthy and so all of what we're saying to do, he does every single day. So I'm gonna give him a shout out. Number two, with the people on the guests, I first want to say God bless you. But you know, so many of you are walking around who don't know they're positive. So one thing about this, knowing that you're positive and knowing how you are now protecting your loved ones and making sure you're monitoring yourself and your symptoms is also a gift to already know. As I always say, knowledge is power. But there's so many people who don't know they're positive. So, and they're asymptomatic. And so, you know, we have a friend of ours, who Fred just reminded me, who's a nurse, who, as a matter of fact, in Chicago, and she was feeling sick, thinking she had a flu. She went to her ER where she works. They sent her home, said she had a cold. A week later, when it turns out she was positive for COVID, a week later, she had to call the ambulance because she couldn't breathe. Now she's on a vent. And, you know, right before going on the event 3 days ago, she called her sister right here in the DMV and said, I may never talk to you again, but I love you. Now, she was someone who, unfortunately, was positive for COVID and did not know it. And, you know, frontline nursing, frontline health providers. So.
Wow. That's, you know, my condolences, definitely. You know, I think all, you two are a testimony, and that's why as soon as I found out that you both had and you divulged it, I really reached out to you and wanted to do this live thing because as the doctor knows, as my cousin, you know, and my wife, listen, real talk for me is getting the word out here and making sure people understand to beat this. We're quarantining, you know, quarantining ourselves. It's people, I hope they understand out there, Facebook Live, people, this is not a game. Please spread this and tell people right now, like, this is about survival. People are passing away, like 900 NYC, New York City Police Department officers are sick with this. You know, the statistics for just New York City alone, people are testing positive every day. We have people that are listening now that for whatever reason, they don't want to say it, and I respect that and I love them for that. I know it or I don't know it. You know, I mean, have just Fred on during the so he can talk about the mental health aspect of this. But let me ask you a question, Doc. Real quick, if you can elaborate, why are people kind of ashamed to say that they have this?
Because of what? Come on now, people will look at you like you got the plague.
Right.
And even after you're negative, or rather after you're not quote unquote contagious, they don't be around you. They're gonna isolate you for life. It's almost like years ago when people didn't want to say they had cancer because they think they're gonna catch it. Well, COVID-19 is catchable. So it's heightened. It's like, okay. So and the sad thing is, even though some people don't want to know, don't want to say, but there's so many people who would shun them that are also positive but don't realize they're positive. So it's a catch-22.
Exactly. This segues me to my next question for you too. How are you dealing with your loved ones? How are you interacting or not interacting with them? And what are you telling them? Stacy or Dave, whoever wants to go first.
So my mom she's diabetic or pre-diabetic or however you want to term it. And so naturally she was concerned, especially once we confirmed that I was positive for it. So really, luckily for me, I've been working so much, I wasn't really around anyone. I was around one coworker and my brother and my mom for the most part, really like the last month or so, because I've been working all the time. My daughter is still away at college. So as of today, everyone except for my mom went and got a test today after being exposed to me. Thank God I have a really good physician who made sure he you know, that happened. He understands the nature of my job as a flight attendant. Mentally, emotionally, I feel like I'm pretty steady. There are some things that I think about. Before earlier last week, I sent a text message to both my children. I said, listen, if something should happen and I should contract this, I want you to get in touch with the job and for insurance purposes to make sure that they would be okay. Of course, my daughter, she's all, well, but that's not going to happen and blah, blah, blah. So we don't have to talk about it. But yeah, we do need to talk about it because this is before the death toll really just started getting out of hand. So just so happened yesterday. So once I found out I was positive, My son is here in town, my daughter's not. My daughter called me yesterday just in hysterics, crying. I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, I'm worried about you. And I'm like, it's easy for me to say, well, I feel great and blah, blah, blah. I try not to take it for granted that I do feel well. But the reality is, it maybe it could change, maybe it won't, but it's a conversation that you have to have with people. And I was finally able to calm her down, but me being the person who's not really, I'm always wondering about how the people closest to me, my mom and the kids are feeling about the situation. My mom is worried for herself, as she should be. And of course, the kids are worried that something's going to happen to them. So let's take other tolls now. Take emotional and mental tolls on yourself as well as the people around you. So my goal, as I was telling my daughter, was to just be strong enough to support my coworkers. I have coworkers who are on life support.
Really?
Wow. They are fighting for their lives. So, yeah. So it's not about me. It's about trying to be a support for some of my coworkers. Like that's the mindset I'm in. Because for all intents and purposes, I feel well enough to focus my energy on other people, something for me. So, but other than that, I try not to overthink it. I just do what I'm supposed to do and take it day by day and hope that later on down the line, be it 6 months, a year, 3 years from now, this doesn't resurface in some other way. Since we don't know everything about it that we need to, right? So, I mean, that's where I am. And, once my mom is tested, I'll feel a lot better knowing that everybody that I was immediately around are okay,
I appreciate that. That was very selfless of you. Dave?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of people that family that I've had passed away, so it's just my children. And they can't wait to get in here and get my stuff. I'm just kidding.
Is he dead yet? No.
I'm just kidding, man. They want my car, they want my watches, they want my bank account.
Is he dead yet? Kick him now.
I'm sorry, bad day. Well, because I my sons are pretty cool. And I didn't tell my daughters right away. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. I have 2 daughters.
Yeah, we can.
And one daughter is not doing well mentally. So I didn't tell her. She found out from somebody else, but I didn't tell her. Oh boy, what happened?
Oh, that's she's back.
Well, I broke it down when I was feeling good. So when they got a chance to talk to me, they didn't feel like I didn't talk sick or anything. When I was sick, I didn't tell anybody, and that was only for 3 days. So, in fact, what I also did was I went to work and not thinking, like I told you, that I had anything. But once I found out, I stopped going to work. But I broke it down really well to them, and they're pretty cool about it. It's no real biggie. They understand that this is a serious thing, and you have to self-quarantine yourself. So everybody's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's something I asked Bill, I think it was yesterday or the day before, like if you found out he was positive, I don't tell me, but would he broadcast it to the world? And, I know what my feelings were, but I just wanted to hear from him, how he felt about it. And, he said that he would disclose it, and I felt the same way. I would disclose it as well. So I know we're still in the middle of it, but I just want to say I appreciate both of you, having with us because it's helping others. I mean, the questions and comments are coming in like crazy. So, we do appreciate your openness with this. One question for you, Dr. Corder, is, there's a big debate over should we wear masks or shouldn't we? So, I hope you're still there. It looks like the video is frozen. But, a lot of people are not sure. So I know when I walk the dog, for like the past 4 or 5 days, I've been, throwing on the mask and throwing on the gloves just because I don't know who was in the elevator or the stairwell before I got there. So just for peace of mind, but I'm just, that was one of our questions think we lost Marilyn, so she'll
Yeah,
probably, I know
she'll
they
come
were
back.
in the car, so
Yeah.
she'll come back. So if you want to.
Yeah, so I mean, that's one thing, like you said, I know you were joking and maybe he might have had a pinch of seriousness, but you know, real talk. That's why this is real talk, baby. We have to understand the psychological. Let me delve into your psychological because when you first found out you had it, what did you feel? What did you think? Dave, we'll go with you first this time.
Well, if I was still sick, it would have probably hit me a lot harder. Because remember, I felt I was sick only from Friday to Sunday. Sunday night, I had no fever. I had no headache because of the things that I did before I found out I actually had it. And I went to work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So when they told me I had it and I'm feeling as good as I'm feeling, I don't think it hit me as hard as it would have hit me if I was sick.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So that's why I was able to tell my children and the people close to me what was happening. And I put out that video right after I found out that I was infected with the virus. And like I said before, and I don't want to keep that video has had over 6,000 views because I plainly told everybody my experience from somebody regular, not a doctor who's going to tell you this and whitewash it and whatever. But I told everybody my truth and what I did to get rid of it and how I'm feeling now. And I'm glad, Bill, I'm glad, I just want to say this, that you put this together with the doctor, which makes it legit, and the both of us who have had it to talk about what she's asymptomatic and I'm not. I had it, so.
But you know what's so funny, and we can go back to your video, and I want people to see it. Let me tell you something. I saw it when you did it, but it was so funny because, you know, we live in a social media gathering now where people are sending stuff that people YouTube, just snippets of things. When I received it, I was like, yo, this meant something, because that means I think somebody got it from somebody that didn't know you and sent it to me because they just knew me. And, you know, I think what a lot of us are doing we're like layman doctors now. We're just shedding information and passing it to the left, to the right, wherever we can. Like I try to send stuff to you or Adrian and I send it to you because the bottom line is something about, and we're going to get to Marilyn real quick, Dr. Corder. What is this thing about? Is it zinc or Z? Is that?
Zinc.
Zinc.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
Oh, it works. As a matter of fact, zinc lozenges, zinc, anything that has zinc in it, zinc spray, it works. What it does, it suffocates the virus. So you could gargle with zinc. You have lots of cough lozenges and throat lozenges that helps zinc. So you want as much, and you're not going to find it, first of all. I was looking for it the other day, maybe a week ago. It's hard to find zinc, Z-I-N-C, but zinc is an antiviral compound. So is, of course, onions, hot water, lemon, lime, but zinc is the bomb, and vitamin C, and as the gentleman said, vitamin D. And don't do a lot of dairy products. I know we got our comfort food, but slow down on the milk and the cheese. That's mucusy, and we talked about thick mucus in your lungs. So
man,
get those
I got
clear
a whole
beverages.
quart of ice cream I can't eat. I got a quart of ice cream I can't touch. I'm so mad.
I'm sorry, Malika was just sitting here telling me, well, you got to cut back on the cheese because, you know, my little go-to snack is cheese and crackers, and she's telling me this.
I know.
I'm like, I ain't coughing and shit. I ain't got. Like you said, listening to you. The one thing now she heard her cousin say it, so she's like, "Oh, well, you got to cut."
Right. And you know those, and you know those things. It's called like a facial mask spray, the steamer. You know those things. Now pull them out if you've had them when you were looking at TV infomercials, whatever those hot steam things that you could do. And as the gentleman said, in front of the pot, just don't burn your face. Do so. So that hot water, that hot temperature, it works.
And the blow dryer.
And the blow dry, yes.
Yeah, actually, Dave, someone asked, like, how many times a day did you use the blow dryer spritzer method?
Well,
I don't know. We have to come up with a term for that.
Because I'm a little excessive and anal about stuff, I was doing that every 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
All right, that's what I was doing. I was alternating from the blow dryer to the pot every 2 or 3 hours, all day Saturday and just about all day Sunday. Sunday night, the headache was gone, the fever was gone, I was good. But what I want to tell you now, I've stepped out a couple of times outside, and when I come back inside, I do the blow dryer and the pot once, either or. Every time I come outside, I come back in the house. I've been out a couple of times, but not just to pick up a few things, and that's it. But I still come in, I take my shoes off and spray the bottom of my, another thing, I spray the bottom of my shoes with Lysol, and I have
Go get it.
this right here sitting at my front door. The minute I come in my house, I'm spraying this on my hand, and then I go in and I wash my hands, and I take off my clothes right here. So I still don't trust this thing, even though I beat it up. I gave it the old Eden Wall beat down. I still don't trust it.
Yeah. Good for you.
Stace, I was asking Malika what was the question that I asked Dave that we got sidetracked. Do you remember what the question was that I asked you in regards to?
Yeah, it's something about the psychology, like.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but what was the question exactly?
Well, basically, what's your psyche on this? Like the psycho.
So with the nature of my job, it was just a matter of time. It wasn't an if, it was a when. I knew I was going to contract this just because of work. And part of me feels like I almost feel like partly responsible for even transporting the damn thing around, because, you know, I have been saying that we need to stop flying because, you know, it's just, we're in a metal tube. We already have our immune system is pretty good anyway, because we sit in a metal tube all day and we don't have air exchange. And so the couple times I've been off work due to a couple of surgeries, I've come back to work, I've immediately gotten sick because that immunity back up from being in that tube. So when you add this virus into the mix with nowhere for it to go, I was like, yeah, it's just a matter of time. So when I found out I was positive, I was kind of relieved, because I just wanted to know, not just for myself, because then that put me into protection mode for everyone else around me. So from that point on, I was like, okay, let me get out of here and away from everybody. And like I said, my doctor is fantastic. I said, listen, I got these people that need to call you to get tested. And he was like, make sure they call me Monday. And so we got that ball rolling immediately. So that was my main concern. And part of me was kind of like,
so
not to say I wish people around me would get it, but if we get it and we can get through it, then we build a natural immunity, because
that's right.
The thing that I'm worried about is the vaccine. Like, that's something I don't even want to look at this point. I'd rather build this immunity up naturally so that I could stay away from that, because the way that it's going on now, I wouldn't want to touch it. At the same time, I wouldn't want people to catch it. So it's all your personal preference. But I'm glad that I am building up this natural immunity so that I don't have to look in that direction. So
I missed something. Stacy, did you say that some of your coworkers are having symptoms and had to be hospitalized, the flight attendants?
Yes, there are quite a few. You know, that's a whole other story for another time, and I'm not happy about that. And I just feel like we should have stopped flying.
Occupational risk. That's an occupational risk.
Exactly.
You all are like the frontliners, like we are.
But the fact is that it doesn't just, you know, harm the people who are in the airports and on the airplanes doing the cleaning, doing all these other things. But we have to go home at some point, like everybody else, nurses and doctors and
that's right,
bus drivers and anybody else. And I just feel like, you know, everything's already shut down, so why didn't we just put just a hard stop on everything and kind of let this thing do what it's going to do? But
right. And I told my daughter not to fly. You know, my daughter was going to fly, and I told her no, because, you know, she's like, well, it's not that many people, but it's the whole nature of getting in line, getting on the plane, getting on the seats. You know, that's why they closed the schools down, because everybody's touching everything.
Right, and there's just nowhere for that air to go on an airplane. There's no air exchange. It's not like I used to be a surgical tech. It's not like being in the OR where that air is exchanged every 20 minutes. Like, there's no that to go. So
I got a question for Stacy.
Yes.
I got a question for Stacy.
Yes.
Where do you think you could have contracted the virus? I don't know if you said that.
I mean, I contracted it literally the day that I found out, or well, the day that I tested was 14 days. There was a specific flight that I flew on that had contagious people on it. And we know this because these people were in the news. And one of my coworkers got sick right after that flight, flew again and had to come off because she couldn't function. Like, she had all the symptoms and was in the hospital for a day or so. After that, that myself and the other person we flew with know that she had tested positive. And so now that I'm the second person off this particular flight that tested positive. So we kind of pretty much were able to really narrow this thing down. And if it wasn't for the fact that these people testing positive in the news, of course we would really be able to say, but luckily it was literally 14 days from the date of this flight that I tested, and I ended up losing my sense of taste and smell. Other than that, I wouldn't have known that there was anything going on, which that leads me to a question, because you can be asymptomatic and still have it, but the testing centers won't test you unless you're having symptoms. And I feel like that's part of our problem with not being able to get a handle on the numbers, because and I get it, there's not enough tests to go around, but when you are asymptomatic, like I feel I could go outside now and do cartwheels all over town, but I'm carrying this thing. So I feel like there needs to be a better protocol, especially for people who are firm, that can say, hey, these people have been exposed to me. What do we need to do?
Right.
So put my glasses on.
Did we lose people?
Can you hear us?
I can,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So there was a couple of things that you talked about, but one thing, Marilyn, we were saying about the mask, like there's a big discrepancy on whether or not you should wear a mask, or if you don't have symptoms. Another person asked if you know that you are positive, is it okay to go outside? I know, we all need to go and get some air.
She'll come back.
Marilyn. Yeah,
Well,
she'll come back again.
On the prior interview we did, I don't think masks have really been a preventive maintenance. They might be more psychological thing for us. She's trying to. You back, Doc?
I'm trying to be back.
I know you are. We have a question. I think I know people want to know: do we need to wear masks? And is there a preference to the mask in your professional opinion?
Okay, so they just.
We're losing you, I think. Where you at, Ranch? We're losing you. You might have to reboot and come back. So let me ask you a question. Until she comes back, do you two have masks? And if you do, what kind of mask do you have?
So
I do.
I have one, but being in the medical field, I'm of the opinion this: the mask is for the person that's not well. Okay? The person, and if you take into account the shortage of masks, it's depending on the type of mask, someone who's walking around with this illness, not wearing a mask, if they sneeze or whatever the case may be, and you're wearing a mask, that can actually permeate your mask from the outside. The trick is for the unwell person to wear it so that those fluids or whatever doesn't get out of the mask. But I mean, me having tested positive, I do have a mask. Got it from my friend who's a paramedic, so he gave me a couple of them a couple of days ago. But my mom is walking around with one, and just a regular mask. I mean, unless it seals, like it can still get in. It can get in from underneath. It can get in from the sides, around the booth of your nose if you don't have it pinched tight, or pinched. So it just, I say yes, but it's more for the unwell person than the well person. I guess anything helps, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it is psychological. Because like I was saying, I'm wearing it to walk the dog.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's a good thing too, because like Malika, she was I will say she's been far ahead of this step than I have. And me, I should probably be more where she is at the point, but now we're at the same page. But even that's 2 steps ahead of me, because the bottom line is Malika masks, she gloves, she does the whole wife and OCD.
Yeah, see, and I'm big about the gloves. I'm very big about the gloves, and I have a pile of wet ones and sandy palms and things like that, and I'll take the spray and I'll spray remotes and keyboards and things every so often. But I would rather have my hands covered than for that mask. One, because the confusion is 1 minute it's person to person, or it could possibly be airborne. It's almost as if we're just this walking. There's just this microorganism that just sits on top of us and just jumps around, and so that's kind of the confusing part, because if that's the case, then a mask wouldn't necessarily help you, or maybe gloves wouldn't necessarily help you. It just depends on how they classify this thing. So which is because of that confusion, I just decided to stay inside and not worry about it for a while.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Yeah.
We're gonna come to you for a second. But Dave, I wanted to ask you a question. When you found out you were positive, of course, you stopped going to work. You have 3 questions. You stopped going to work. Did you inform your job that you had the coronavirus, and did people get tested, or did anybody test positive?
Oh, absolutely, because what I didn't tell you is that I work for a security company that has a federal contract with the Marshals. I work in rehabilitation homes and hospitals guarding inmates. Now, these inmates don't necessarily have the virus, but I'm in an atmosphere where people are constantly coming in and out. And the particular, I'm not going to mention the name, nursing home, rehabilitation home where I'm at, has had a couple of cases of the virus. So I strongly believe that I caught it from one of the co-workers or visitor at that rehabilitation home. And some of my co-workers are sick also. So that's a lot of them. In fact, one is in intensive care right now.
That's it's interesting you said that, because one of our viewers, Terrence Lane, he's a bus driver here in the city, and he said, unfortunately there was recently someone passed away, and another one of his coworkers is in the hospital. He was just put on a ventilator.
Right.
So he asked that we in Maryland, if you can just stress the importance of people staying home. Stay in the house and go out, make it quick and be safe about it. But that's the big thing. I mean, we see these pictures and videos of people congregating at the beach and still in church.
It's crazy.
It's a lot. Yeah, stay home.
This Doc, I'm going to ask you this. It's so funny. I don't know if any of you have seen the movie Fallen with Denzel. And
Yep, I saw that.
It just reminds me, even though that was a demonic spirit thing, but it seems like it's like that. As soon as you touch somebody, it goes.
Yeah.
Please elaborate to people or convey more on the importance of how this thing travels in the air, land, sea, wherever it does, furniture, metal. Please elaborate on that. Yeah.
So it's droplets, and the droplets can be anywhere. And they're saying now, even on metal surfaces, it can last for 6 days. One thing we also realize is we touching doorknobs in our homes, and we're touching handrails, and we're touching steering wheels, we're touching in the buses, when we're on the subway. We need to not touch. I'm going to go back to wearing masks. I think everybody should be wearing a mask at this point. The mask, as Stacey said, the mask is for a reason. Sometimes, of course, it may not be the N95, but wearing a mask at least helps you not put your hands in your face and your nose and your mouth. So it protects you from yourself. It also has some barrier effect. So somebody who may just try to almost sneeze within that 6 feet of social distancing violation, they, can get a little close. You don't want to have that in your nasal passages, whatever they have, as well as, in your mouth, etc. Do not drink after anybody. You smokers, stop smoking and sharing butts. There's so many different things that you can no longer do, even in your same household. So going back to the surface bill, they're now saying that most of the people who are spraying down their surfaces with Lysol are doing it wrong. First, you have to wipe it clean, so that the virus that's sitting there begins to, I call it decapsulate, because it's
Right.
encapsulated. Then you wait for a minute, then you put the Lysol or bleach, then you let it sit. Don't just put it there and wipe it. Then you defeat the purpose. So going back, yes, you should protect yourself with the mask. You should hand wash. I love the gentleman. He said, as soon as he comes in the door, suds. Now, hand sanitizer, yeah, everybody's into that, but soapy water works. I'm washing my hands till they're raw, but guess what? I'm washing my hands, and that's suds. And, you know, you have to know how, even with the health providers, as I'm chief of staff at one of the hospitals, we're meeting all the time, but we also had folks to say, look, let's buddy system, let's check ourselves. So when we're putting on the PPEs, the personal protective equipment, we have to make sure that we're putting it on right and we're taking it off right. They even have some places where whatever you wore to work, you take off before you start working, and you have a set of scrubs, and then you leave those scrubs there. So you're not taking it back to your loved ones.
Right.
So, yes.
Can you elaborate on what's the difference between hand sanitizer and soap and water? Because some people hand sanitize themselves to death and don't understand that there's a difference after a while between soap and water. So can you elaborate?
You know, it's interesting. Even most of the physicians will tell you hand sanitation is fine when you can't get to a sink and soap, but the more effectiveness is sudsy soap, at least 20 to 30 seconds. So the hand sanitizers help some, you know, cut down some, but it's nothing like what soap and water can do.
This is really enlightening. I think we need to all understand. I appreciate you all for definitely keeping it going, and I mean, just sharing your business with the world. I mean, we got to beat this. This is some unseen monster they're fighting. You know, people are sending out things that they said this in movies, and they're talking about other movies that are coming out. Like, really, it's irrelevant. Let me ask you another question. How are you feeling about interacting with people after this is all over? This is going to be a whole totally different experience. What do you guys think about that?
So for me, I can put it in the context of work. I'm one of those that as soon as I walk onto a plane and I start working, I pull out my own stash of Clorox wipes and my own gloves, and I start wiping everything down, the phones, blah, blah, blah. When I'm serving people, I don't let them take things from me. I set it down. I don't let them, you know, when you have this little snack basket, I don't let them, you know, just raid the basket and things like that. So certain practices, I guess that's the old surgical technique I've always kind of stuck with. And I'm always real big on you know, hand washing and things like that, because the plane is not the cleanliest place in the world. So those are practices I've always kind of kept up. As far as interacting with people, it's going to be different, but I don't think I'm going to be like super anal about it. At the end of the day, if we truly build up this immunity, I kind of feel like I can't let the fact that it might linger out there forever just control everything that I do. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm always gonna keep my hands clean and keep my personal belongings clean and things like that. And I always watch what people do. I'm like, ooh, that person came out of the bathroom and didn't wash their hands.
Exactly, yeah.
Cook with the cat on the counter, like that kind of shit. But
I will say, let me just interject for a second, Stacey, and I want you to finish. But I think all nationalities, everybody's on heightened alert. When you see somebody now, those who used to come out the bathroom, and this is directly at you, those who used to come out the bathroom and didn't wash your hands, you would be put on blast right now. As you a carrier of this shit, you know?
Right. I think it will promote more awareness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, let me make sure I, hit this right quick. But maybe that's what it is. Maybe it will bring more awareness to how we are not maybe we are taking that for granted. Like, oh, okay, it's just a handle. Like this, there's nothing wrong with it, or it's a plate, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to continue to watch what other people do, like I always have. Not to the point where I can't function because maybe that person touched this, and like I just can't let it run my life that way.
Right. What about you, Dave?
Well, I've always been anal about keeping things clean. If you would go in my bathroom right now, I have liquid soap, I have bar soap, and I have hand sanitizer, and I got a scrub brush.
Yeah.
Okay. I've taught my children from day one, when you use a public bathroom, hold on to that piece of tissue to open the door. Because
Old
there are
school.
people that do not wash their hands, and you don't want to touch anything after them.
Right.
So I worked in the prison for 20 years. So we're taking infectious disease classes. And after I took that class, it even worsened my my feelings about how people don't clean things. Doorknobs, handles, car. I got sanitizer stuff in my car. I have it on all my book bags. Like I said, I come in here and I use this stuff right here, and then I go wash my hands.
Exactly. So Doc, please elaborate, go back to the point of what's the difference between soap and hand sanitizer. And that's a good point that you said, Dave, because it's almost like the doctor, you said it in the past about people don't even know how to clean themselves or wipe down. So, please elaborate on both of those topics. How do you clean yourself when you come in the house, like in regards to the Lysol, and the difference between soap and hand sanitizer?
Okay, so let me go to the last question. Again, before we had sanitizers, we still had soap. And suds and suds, just like Stacey with the, she's a surgical tech. When you scrub and really wash your hands, and we do it at the surgical sink for 2 or 3 minutes. So I say 20 seconds, but even longer is even better. The suds, the soap, the suds is what suffocates the virus. And that's why you see everywhere posted, wash your hands, wash your hands. Again, with the hand sanitizer, that is antiseptic, yes. It does have those ingredients that cuts back on bacteria, etc. But I think that sometimes we get a little bit too comfortable and forget to wash our hands. So both are helpful, but they ran out of the hand sanitizer. So the better one is to get your soap and scrub and wash. What else we have to also mention? The cell phones that's like the worst of germs. That's worse than the hotel with the remote control. Bacteria, because so many hands are grabbed. How many cell phones go in the bathroom with you? All of them, okay? And you set them down, but you still touching everything, including your cell phone, as you coming out of that stall. So wipe your cell phones. Don't touch anybody else's cell phones. You're self-contaminating with your cell phones. You're laying there in the bed with your cell phones, breathing everything. So just add that to your things to do. Going back to the new norm, we have this ongoing thread with my classmates who went to medical school with me. Many of them have retired. But even those who have not, we're talking about stethoscope. It's not 6 feet long. Okay, we have to listen. We have to listen to the heart. So what we're going to be doing is listening to the heart, turning our head, and looking away with our mask on. No offense, okay? We ain't talking bad. We're talking protecting ourselves. So there's going to be some things that we will do differently that we didn't do. Now that I have to talk to my patients, especially those nail biters or those folks who put their hands in their mouth. You can't do that because what you're doing is sucking up COVID-19 and then some.
Yeah. Doc, let me ask you a question. I know it's on the point of hygiene, but I don't know if I'm going to ask you a question. But the thing is, how are you personally dealing? I know you mentioned elaborate a little bit, but how are you personally dealing with people now? I know your level of hygiene now is going to another level. Like you said, are y'all having staff meetings on, listen, okay, today on cleanliness 01, this is what we're doing, or cleanliness 02?
We shut it down. Let me tell you about your cousin, Dr. Fred Corder, and your other cousin, Freddie, told us to stay. We're not seeing patients. We shut it down. Now, some doctors are still seeing patients. I may lose a few patients because I'm really honoring COVID-19, but I'm in the high-risk age. So it's like, well, if you want to get another doctor who's younger, I get that. But I'm going to protect me. So after this storm, I have survived.
Yes, amen. You have any questions?
Yeah, so this is an interesting question. One person said, if you blow dry the mask, will that kill the virus if the virus is on the mask? So come in the house and use the blow dryer.
You might have to go to Dave on that.
Oh yeah. Let me get my blow dryer. It'll kill it. It'll kill any damn thing.
What about it, Marilyn?
Baby.
What about it?
Only $15.
Well, they're saying it's spraying it first, letting it air dry and blow dry. And there's different things because, you know, when they were just tossing, and one person may have used 10 masks in a day from going room to room, that was, you know, that was something that they didn't have that many PPE. So there are lots of things. We have people making our masks and we're putting filters in. And when you come home, you take the filter out, but the outer mask, you know, you could, that's still okay. So it's a lot of creative things to protect that caregiver and to protect, you know, the patient itself. One last thing, with the senior citizens, the homes, etc., those poor patients, those poor individuals, you know, their families cannot visit them. And, you know, when you have one on a patient, it's almost like daycare. When you have one of them, because they're getting diapers and, you know, you're getting close to them because you got to make sure that they're eating, etc. It's difficult. So that's the group of folks, other than the group that have comorbidities, who are mostly being affected and getting very sick. The healthy ones, go for it. And so many, when you look at the death rate, you know, it's about 10%. I think in China it was 1 to 2%, up to 3%. But when you look at who's died and who's still surviving and have had it and have survived, like, you know, your two wonderful guests, it outweighs. It's 10 times that you survive it, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you have everything that you need to have with all the great suggestions that we've been talking about today.
Okay. Well, let me ask a question.
Yeah, so actually like two questions. So Dr. Corder, I know you talked about zinc earlier, but one of the viewers said, what about the hydrochloroquine?
Okay, that's the malaria medicine,
and the Z-Pack.
Now that is the medicine for malaria. That there's now been some reports that it helps treat this virus, and the studies are still out. People are hopeful. I know that my friend's sister, they're using that now as she's on the vent. So it's like, let's try it and everything, but I can't comment because I don't really know, and the studies are not there. So I'll say what Dr. Fauci said in terms of the scientific words. I would put on my scientific hat. It's not yet proven, not enough studies, not enough research, but I tell you what, if I'm sick, I'm gonna take it, all right? So
you're gonna take anything that's gonna give you a wish and a prayer, right? Exactly.
My blow dryer, look, the blow dryer.
Blow dryer. Come on, man, let's get with it.
Listen,
get that heat up there.
Yo, and the Z-Pack too, exactly. Like, because I something so funny. I got some flack from some friends. I pushed out a video about somebody. I think I sent it to Adrian to show you, and the guy was talking about Z-Pack, and I think, oh my God, the fact that he mentioned 45. You know, I don't say his name. He mentioned 45. It was like, oh, I don't know about this, and I heard this is not. I'm so glad that you said the Z-Pack. Listen, right now, I'll pat a behind if they tell me it's gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I am so scared. And let me tell you something, Dave. You can contest to this. Like, we're martial artists, we're men, we're law enforcement. We've been trained all our lives from hand-to-hand combat. And then on top of our profession, and ladies, I mean, I'm sure you can attest to this, your ladies, your mothers, listen, this is something, it's like fighting an invisible ghost, man. Yeah. Out here, everybody that's listening, and we have to, honestly, so I really appreciate you all taking the time out of your day, Dave and Stacy, to just elaborate. We're not over yet. We'll go over when you are. We've gone over time, but listen, this is so important that this is testimony that nobody else is going to get. And people on Facebook, listen to us. When you pass this and share this around, people know that you're getting free advice. You're getting two people, and you're getting a clinical person, a world-renowned doctor. You know, she's been on TV. She's not just, I'm not pumping her because she's my cousin, but she's been on TV. She's been on Steve Harvey. She has credentials. You can Google her. You don't have to Google me. Google. But listen, my man Dave, listen, you took a blow dryer in a spray bottle.
Some basic.
Stace, listen, you've always been healthy to my knowledge, and you're still healthy. Like I said, a profession that you want to do caused you this. And but like you said, you took the appropriate measures. A lot of people may not even have the accountability or the monetary value to go someplace and quarantine yourself from your whole family. Bless your heart. Go ahead, Malika, wanted to say something.
Just one viewer wanted to get clarification. So, knowing that someone has tested positive, is it okay for them to go out and take a walk, or should they just stay in?
Yeah, absolutely. I sit outside my house on a bench in the sun when the sun is out. If it's raining, no. But if the sun is out, I'll sit there by myself with my mask on in the sun. And I don't interact with anybody. In fact, I had to tell one person that I knew that lived in my building, I said, I am definitely infected, so please don't come near me. And they said, okay, Dave, I got you. Thank you. That's it. I do go out, but I don't stay out long. But I'm in the back, in the sun by myself.
But Dave, is that because now that you're on the I hope I'm saying this, Doc, correct me, like on the downswing of it, or was this on the men? This wasn't when you were in full 101.
No, when I was in full bloom, when I was sick, I stayed in the house. When the headache left me and the fever left me, like I said, I went to work because I didn't think I had it. I went to work Monday, Tuesday. It came on me on a Friday. Saturday, I was really bad. I didn't go out. Sunday, I only went out to try to get tested, and they turned me down Sunday morning. Then I went to Glen Island over there in New Rochelle to get tested. Then I went back home, and I stayed home, and I felt good that night. And I went to work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because I said I probably didn't have anything. But once they told me that I had it, I kept myself in the house. Right after I bought a whole lot of food. And then I just self-quarantined. But I'm not around people. And now, like I said, I told that one person not to come near me. They saw me with the mask and they doubted it, but I put the serious face on. You know the game face.
Yeah.
You know the game face, brother.
Yeah, either with my money or I'm gonna get that ass money.
Well,
yeah, so when it was very hot outside, the sun was out, I stepped out because, being locked up inside is kind of depressing, It is a little bit, but anyway, that's what I did.
For me, from the time I tested on Thursday until I guess Sunday when I got here, we had a couple of high 80s, near 90-degree days, and maybe 3 times on the one particular day, I went and sat in my car for 10, 15 minutes and just let the heat. I just sat in the car, turn my radio on and just sat there with the windows up, sat in, and I did do so Saturday morning, I was confirmed positive. Saturday afternoon, I went and pulled the hair dryer out. I did the hair dryer in water because I went to the store.
Oh, my sister, right on.
But let me tell you, after I did that, started that afternoon. By that evening, my taste was returning. So I did that. I did the blow dryer and water method maybe 2 or 3 times a day. And by Sunday, I could taste again. I'm still working on the smell, but I could taste after I did that a couple of times. So there's something to it.
Holler to the blow dryer.
Dr. Corder, I need your opinion on this. I think I'm probably going to chop this word up. Malika, help me.
I pronounce it hydrochloroquine.
Is that the proper pronunciation of that word?
That's correct.
Yeah. A person said I have
hydrochloroquine. Hydrochloroquine.
Yeah, that is for 8 years for lupus. And
yes,
informed last week that it may no longer be accessible because of the COVID.
Right, right. And it's better known as Clacamil. It's interesting. We just came back from Ghana. So I have some of that because that's one of the prophylactic medicine that you take so you won't get malaria. So supposedly, and like I said, it has some promise, but unfortunately, because of the high demand, people who need it for different conditions, such as lupus, which is an autoimmune condition, it may be short. So the manufacturers just need to, get with producing it. It's not yet the drug of choice, and it is a virus. This is a virus. So with viral illnesses, it's mainly your immune system that is fighting it, and we've talked about everything. But they're saying this anti-malaria medicine will make a difference.
Doctor, let me
But you want, and that's when it's in the lungs.
Let me
Yes.
ask you a question, Doctor. We've heard heat is a shield to this. If you had
Yes.
accessible to saunas, if you're not accessible to saunas right now, what about hot steam baths? Are any of these things, I know we
Yes.
the pot, but are all these things great for what we're trying to fight?
Well, you know what, I don't know if you can still hear me. You know what they say with even fighting a cold, you sweat it out. The fight is basically your body needs to, get hot and sweat it out, and you want to, as warm as you can. The hot, we say chicken soup, which is hot, tea, which is hot. Those are known elevated temperature beverages and food known to fight viruses. Now we're talking gargling. This is old stuff. Gargle with warm salt water, gargle with the real Listerine. Get your zinc, get your natural things, honey and zinc. And that's when it's in the mouth, and it's hot of the environment, the better. Going to, you can't go to the steams anyway because everything's shut down, including the gyms. But as much as you can get that temperature elevated, and gargle with warm water, not just drinking it, but gargle, because it's the entire buccal mucosa, your entire mouth. If it's on your throat, that means it's in your cheeks. That means it's up the roof of your mouth. All of that, and even spraying some of that hot water. I love it. Look, everybody's gonna run to the dollar store and get spray bottles. So that will help.
Right.
It's so funny. Go ahead.
Somebody just wrote in and said, "What's this blow dryer thing? I missed it."
Well, I think my man just texted me too. I think he's a little late. I'll text you back and explain the blow dryer. But let me ask you a question. I think we were told years ago, when you had a sore body, you get inside a hot tub with Epsom salt. Is that even
right? That's the same phenomena.
Okay, good.
When I say the same, it's like you steam it out. You steam it out. You steam it out. I'm looking in my closet to see if I got my blow dryer in here. Anyway, go ahead.
So listen, I think you too, Dave. You need to patent your own blow dryer to get a lot of people out.
Hey,
right
here.
There you go. Got it.
There you go.
$15 going once.
Listen,
Hey,
it's so crazy. I'm going to ask Malika if you have any parting words.
I thought you were going to ask if it's blow dryer. I do have.
Oh no, we got a blow dryer. I know it is too. Exactly.
Hey, look.
And I got 5% juice on my phone.
All right. Well, we're winding down good. So let me just say this. It's just so crazy that everybody out there listening, please share this. This is not about fame right now. This is just about survival. This is about saving somebody's lives.
Yes.
Dave, Stacy, I'm gonna let you have some parting words. Then I'll let Malika, and then I'll let Dr. Corder have some parting words, and then I'll close out. So Dave or Stacy, anyone you want to close out? Because I appreciate you going past the time. Usually we try to have real talk. We try to do an hour, but I think this is so important. I've looked at the numbers of people that have been in this chat room with us that are sure after we close out that will share this are phenomenal numbers. Let me tell you something. People listening to you, they see themselves. So that's what's most important to me, that you see yourselves. When I started taking on this active role 8 years ago, stuff like that, 10 years ago, I didn't know the path that Jesus put me on, but I'm walking it. And my wife has joined the path. My cousin and I, when we really found out that we both on the same path, we have collaborated on so much.
Yes.
She's part of Real Talk. I'm part of her village. She'll talk about that before she gives off. So Stacy, Dave, whichever one of you want to go first, start with you, Stacy. Any words, advice you have for people? Definitely. Let me tell you something first and foremost. You two are going to be hearing from me every day, making sure you guys are all right. That's just a text. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say that. But Stace, go ahead, Stace, please.
Well, again, thank you to all of you for having us on and providing a platform for people to have real discussions. Now, Bill, I've been trying to be a part of Real Talk for a very long time. This is not how I wanted to do it, but it is what it is.
No doubt.
And so my only I guess the words of wisdom or nugget that I could give anyone would be, fight for a test. If you feel like, you're having those symptoms, talk to a doctor, talk to your doctor. If that doctor's not giving you what you need and you really feel like you need it, find someone who can get you that test, number one. Because knowing is half the battle. You want to start protecting people around you and making them aware and getting them. And let me just real quick before I finish that up. So
take your time. You got your time, baby. This is one thing about this. This is free time. We can stay on here as long as you want. I apologize for keeping you longer than I told you I would. That's all.
Well, but
I
let
got
us just
5%.
from a work standpoint, how this worked. So a girl I flew with let me know, and the guy that we flew with, that she had it, right? So after that trip, I flew to Detroit and worked for an entire week, 2 trips out of Detroit. So that means now I have to let the people that I flew with on both of those trips know what was going on so that they could, set themselves up, for success and get their test, whatever. And it's so sweeping that you almost have to think, okay, where was I? Who was I around? What was I doing? It's a lot, and it can be a lot of work, but it's worth it when you can make sure people know what's going on. So I don't understand the, I guess, the shaming behind letting someone know your status. It's not like, Mrs. Daddy in Color. It's not like it's that nasty woman's disease. I mean, it's something that's going on that, the more people are aware of people's status, then one, that helps with the numbers, and hopefully we can find some kind of way around this or through it,
Appreciate that. Yeah.
But get the test if you can. Fight for the test if you really feel like you need that test, and don't allow people to say, oh, you just have. That happened to one of our friends, Bill, recently. She went and got a test, but she was around me, and it's like, oh, you just have a sinus infection. Well, that's funny. We have the same. Like no sense of taste or smell, but she had other symptoms that to me would clearly indicate that she probably was exposed to it.
Yes.
So I would say, get your test, keep your wits about yourself, and please follow the protocols. If you need to stay inside, stay inside. All that other stuff outside will wait. God forbid if, my brother had actually had all the symptoms and he went on a cruise and all this other crap, and so he finally got his test out of the way. And I was of the mindset of, if anybody needed to take a test, it was him, because he clearly had the signs and symptoms, whereas I didn't. But lo and behold, I'm the one with it. So don't let the fact that you feel okay and you feel great, take you out of reality, which is you could actually absolutely still have it, and you need to do the proper thing. Other than that, like I said, keep your wits about yourself, follow the protocols, and don't be afraid to let people know what is going on, because knowledge is power, and the more people that you make aware, may each one teach one kind of thing. Other than that, I'm grateful for the symptoms that I don't have, and I'm better than most, and I'm grateful for that.
Dave. That's it, right? That's the power button, baby. Push it up.
Well, basically, I concur with everything that Tracy said. Stacy, I just want people to pay attention to the signs. I just want people that if you don't have to go to work, don't. And if you do have it, let your family and friends know. She said, fight for the test, fight for the test, so at least you know. This stuff is crazy. I feel like I'm in a bad sci-fi movie.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. So basically, just pay attention, stay home, and take care of yourself. And pay attention to the signs. And get yourself a dryer.
Get yourself a dryer. You want to say something?
Save your question out with the blow dryer. I just want to tell you both again, thank you. It's so nice to meet you, Stacy, finally. And Dave, it's good seeing you again.
Okay.
Reporter, as always, you know you have all my love. But you all are educating so many people, not only us, but I mean the people that have written in. There's a lot more people who have been watching this that haven't written questions, and I want to thank them as well. But I appreciate it because there is no shame here. There's nothing to be ashamed about. This is a global pandemic. So many people are affected. and we need to just be educated on what we need to do and don't do.
Dr.
thank
Dr. Corder? Yeah.
Well, first I just want to.
Now we're doing some couple stuff, right? Yeah, you know. I was just finishing the sentence. That's all.
I was going to thank you also. He's the last person I was going to thank.
Oh, go ahead. I'll listen.
Okay.
Stop blocking your blessings.
Good.
Yeah, but thank you for tapping into your network and for just being a medium to help get the word out. I think you're doing an excellent job, and thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Of course, thank you. Dr. Corder, and I'll sum it up after you. Please, also after you say your piece, give us some real quick do's and don'ts also, and then let people know where they can hear us Saturday also. After.
Okay, absolutely. So I'm just thankful to God that I'm still talking and at this point healthy. And I'm thankful for you, Bill, cousin Billy is what I call you from years back. I remember when you were a baby, and you are such an inspiration. You're such a positive force for the family. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I just want to first. I also want to thank my son Freddie, who's listening over in the Philippines, who. That germophobic part of him, he didn't even like to eat out. He was bringing his own knife and fork. Is working out.
Remember that when we went to eat. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But in all honesty, I want us to understand that this is a time where we can take our health in our own hands. And like Dave and Stacy said, get yourself tested and demand it. And if you think you have COVID with or without the test, do the right thing. If you've been exposed to somebody, self-quarantine, that's not only good for you, it's good for the village, it's good for your loved ones. I was listening to Chris Cuomo with his brother, your governor there, and he was very, very transparent about his family. And Chris is positive because of his job, and he's doing the right thing. He's in the basement. He's separated from his family members, his mother, including the dog. So we have to be responsible. It's called being responsible. We could do this. We are cabin fever. We want to get out. Go out on the porch, take a deep breath, sit on the bench like Dave did, but understand you have to self-respect and respect others. The do's and the don'ts. The don'ts is don't socialize, make sure it's 6 feet, again, honor the social distancing, and do what you need to do to keep your body healthy. Eat good, drink your fluids, talk to your doctor. I'm going to say, call your doctor, call the health department, whatever you need to do with your symptoms. If you have symptoms, demand the test. Go to wherever they tell you to go. Like when you have symptoms and you go to the emergency room, you can't go inside. The people will come out, put a mask on you, etc., and take you in. I have a dear friend who is a physician, and now she's positive for COVID. She's in the hospital. And one thing that she said, I don't want to go to the ER, emergency room. Nobody does, but you need to have help and medical attention. So whatever that means, make a phone call, talk to the urgent care folks, because they're there to help you. They don't want you in the middle of their waiting room, no, but there's protocol that they will follow and mask you and get you where you need to be. So it happens to any and all of us. You're not immune. When I say you're not immune, hopefully your immune system is boosted, but all social economics, we see it in the royal family, we see it in actors and actresses, we see it in the homeless, we see it everywhere. So just know that it can affect anybody, including a radio show every Saturday, and it's WOL. It's on Radio 1, you can stream it, Radio 1, WOL, and it's 1450 AM, 1450 AM every Saturday from 3 to 4 Eastern time. And it's Village Talk with Dr. Corder. Thank you, guys.
Malika reminded me of something. Say it again.
You gave us a website the last time we spoke. It was Oxygen.
Oh my goodness, I sure did. And do I have it?
Well, take your time. Look forward as I close.
I have it. Malika, I have it. This is CBD. This is, let me tell you. CBD. We're talking a natural immunity. I'm going to give you the website. I'm going to spell it. And this is, matter of fact, this is Frederick's website. It's OXZGEN. OXZGEN.com /L1442778. I'm going to repeat that. OXZGEN.com for that to you, because CBD is a natural immune booster. I take CBD oil, 1 dropper full a day, 1,000 milligrams, and I'll tell you, maybe between the grace of God and taking that every day, and I'm boosting my immunity even if I'm in my 60s, but I'm feeling great. And folks that I have on that CBD drops, they're doing great, and it's flying off the shelf, but that's the website you can go. But make sure you have that L number.
Well, I'm gonna go out and get that tomorrow. Listen,
Okay.
Everybody, this week coming up, Freddie Jr., please get at me. So I want to interview you Thursday. That's the upcoming thing. Thursday, I want to, Fred Corder, my cousin, her son is a
Clinical psychologist, yeah, a life coach.
Psychologist, a life coach, and he's going to talk to us about how the psychological aspect of this pandemic is affecting us. Saturday, Corder, if she's available, I know I'll be with her at 3 o'clock, but if she's available at 12 o'clock, we're going to be interviewing 3 nurses.
Okay.
Is being on the front line, and what are they dealing with as nurses and first responders. I want to Dave Shepard, my brother. I love you so much. Stacy, you are my girl, sister for life. My partner.
Thank you for asking me to be on this, man.
Oh no, listen, Dr. Corder, cuz this is what we do.
That's right.
And my beautiful wife, thank you, Malika Vaughn. We went past the time, but I think it was very informative. I'm looking at all the calls and the people that are chiming in. Listen, you can like this, you can share it on Facebook. After this, you'll see the views. Everybody has done their own watch party for Real Talk Chronicles. You may not be able to reach me anymore as Bill Foster, but I have a Real Talk Chronicles page. Just send me a friend request. I share this to the Real Talk Chronicles page. Listen, this is all about saving ourselves. Anything else, it's just real talk. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Y'all want to stay on, we'll be on after if y'all want to.
Bye.
Thanks, Doc. I appreciate it.